the last couple of years, there have been a number of new knife companies that have hit the main street, one of which is EMP EDC. How's it going, everybody? I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And let me know in the comment section down below, do you own any knives from EMP EDC? And if so, which ones? While you're down there, if you could, go ahead and smack up that like button. Let YouTube know that you appreciate knife content. Today, we're going to be talking about not one, but two knives from every man's pocket. And I'm really excited to do that because ever since they launched right after COVID, I've wanted to see what they were all about. First, they did an OTF, then they did a flipper, then they did a regular folding knife called the Nimble, and that grew in popularity. But today, the ones that I have here are the Ronin and the Nimble X, both designs that I think are pretty dang cool. But we're going to see, do they live up to the hype or are they all hype? Let's find out.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Here we go, guys. We've got two EMP EDC knives right here, and this is awesome. I've wanted to check out EMP EDC for the longest. Part of the reason why I haven't up until now is that because, well, the money never lined up with the drops, and that was kind of disappointing. For those of you who spend money in the knife world, you probably already know that, well, it's really easy to buy something and then have something else come out and you're like, dang it, I just wish that I'd waited a little bit longer and I could have gotten that other thing. It happens. So if that happened to you, I'm sorry. This is the Nimble X 3.5 inch, and this is the Ronin. Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The Ronin is actually available right now at the time of recording it. It might not be in the future, but as of right now, it is. So if you want one, I'll make sure to link both of these down below. They're not affiliate links, they're just regular links. I'm not affiliated with EMP EDC, even though I actually have reached out to them a couple times via email, never heard back. That's okay. I don't expect everyone to get back to me, so I totally understand. But I'm excited all the same. Now, this guy showed up in this case, or was it this case? I don't remember. Maybe it was the other way around, to be honest with you. But we've got two case styles here. One of them is a hard case. The other one is a soft case. The Nimble X is an updated version of the original super popular knife from EMP EDC, the Nimble. And it features some really cool things. Let's talk about those specs real quick. We're looking at titanium on the handle scales, M390 on the blade, and they do actually list on the website that the M390 is heat treated between 61 to 62 HRC, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Bestech is the OEM on this one, and they did a great job. Bestech has been doing phenomenal OEM work lately. It does have a titanium 3D milled pocket clip, single-sided captive pivot, with the only branding on this blade being on that pivot, which I think is pretty cool. There is not a single marking. There's no blade marking that I can see. There's no billboarding, completely neutral and neutered blade as far as marketing is concerned. And that's how it should be. The overall length on this is going to be coming in at about 8.1 inches. It's got a 3.5 inch blade, which is an upgrade from the prior Nimble size. It's got a nice deep hollow ground on here. And so the Nimble X features a couple different improvements. One of them is that it has supposedly better ergonomics. I don't know because I've never handled an original Nimble. And then also they're saying that it provides you with more cutting edge, which I think is pretty cool too. You do have a lanyard hole if that's your speed, and here on the hardware it looks as though we've got T8 all around. Let's go ahead and check that real quick. I'll grab my T8 bit, T8 on the pivot, T8 on the body screws, T8 on the pocket clip screws. Yep, T8 all the way around. That's fantastic. Normally I'm over here talking about how it's a nitpick, but I can live with it. You don't have to do that with the Nimble X because it's not a nitpick. They just gave us the right hardware. Thank the Lord. Now it is in fact a frame lock, and the lockup on that is looking to be right there around 25 to 30%, which is perfect. There is less than 0 blade play in the locked out position. What about blade centering? Yep, that is bang on center. Something else that I'm going to mention, I ask for this all the time. All the freaking time I say that I want to see jimping extend all the way out to every inch that I could possibly put my thumb so that I can get a locked in position with my hand. And they gave it to us. That's wonderful. Thank you, John from EMP EDC, for understanding that that makes for a really comfortable and confident grip on the knife. Here I am in a choked up position with that finger choil, and it's great. I can put my thumb anywhere on here. If I go ahead and go back, I can put my thumb there. If I want to do a reverse grip, it's nice because of the way that that angle on the bottom of those handle scales works. Yeah, you can cap off. That's fantastic. Deployment options. You get all the deployment options except for a thumb stud. You have the rear flipper. You have the front flipper. You have the deployment hole. And then, of course, you have the fuller. There we go. The fuller is not actually as good to try to get a grip on as the deployment hole because it's so well polished right here that it's easy for your finger to slip out. But, you know, a few deployments and you'll get it, no problem. I really like the design of the front and rear flipper because these aren't pocket peckers sticking out. It keeps the profile of the knife in the closed position really good. I like that. I also like these milling lines, which they're not just for aesthetics. It actually does help reduce snail trails or visible snail trails. That's great. The contouring on the handle scales also helps with great ergos overall. Now, are the ergos on here perfect? No. I do actually feel this 3D milled pocket clip a little bit, but you know, to be honest with you, I can in fact live with it. In a choked up position like this, it puts the clip back in the palm of my hand and it actually makes it more comfortable. Regular position, I feel that clip. Choked up position, I don't. This is great. It kind of makes me wish that I had actually checked out the original Nimble now. All right, so there's that one. Let's go ahead and check out the Ronin. Now, the Ronin is one that I've been keeping my eye on for a hot minute. When they initially announced it on Instagram, I was there. Now, unlike with the Nimble, you only get 2 deployment options. You have the front flipper like that, and then, of course, you have the fuller / deployment hole. And I like what they've done there. I like how the deployment hole and the fuller are both there. That's actually kind of nice. I really appreciate that. This is not a very big knife. I actually expected it to be bigger. Pretty sure that's what she said. Now on the Ronin, you have a couple options, and it's more than just the blade steel, although we'll start there. On the blade, we're looking at either Elmax, which is what this is, or Damasteel. Not Damascus, guys. Damasteel. If you don't know the difference, it might be worth looking it up. The blade length is coming in at 3.35 inches. It's got a total overall length of 7.6 inches, and it only weighs about 3.6 ounces, and they achieve that because they pocketed out the inside of those handle scales for some extra weight reduction. Same clip as you get on the Nimble X, and does it affect the ergos? You know, it's weird. It's actually a little bit different on here than it is ergonomically speaking, but you are going to get the same carry depth. That's going to come in right below those screws right about there. Due to the swoop on the back end of these handle scales, it's actually going to be great in a reverse grip, but also it's going to follow the line of your pocket, which I think is pretty forward thinking. You know, it's going to line up. It's not going to be sticking out like a sore thumb. This one, same deal, neutral neutered blade, no marketing there. Can't find any markings at all. The frame lock on here is, I would say that's about 25% on the lockout. There is no blade play, perfect. And then of course we're seeing a continuance of the jimping everywhere where you could potentially put your thumb. Thank you. You do have less of a forward finger choil here, but you can still actually choke up on it. That's great. Personally, I think that this would be great for pinch gripping, because with this compound grind, and this is a compound grind between a hollow and a flat, this edge apex right there is going to be perfect for doing draw cuts and pull cuts. It's going to be comfortable, or at least mainly comfortable in the regular positions. Like usual, I would probably just control this in a saber grip. Now, if you wanted to go self-defense style, just like with the Nimble, it has this swoop on the bottom end of the handle scales, which is perfect for capping your thumb off on. And if you're thinking to yourself, you know, that's cool, I just don't like the flat tanto tip, because this is quite obtuse. It's almost like a pry bar up here. They do make a version C that has a more of a drop point tip, where there's belly here on this tanto tip. That's actually the one that I would buy. And here's the tough part. They're available right now. And here I am between knives, which means that yet again, I still am not in a position to buy one. So thank you to Lefty EDC for starting this pass around, because otherwise I would not have the opportunity to check these out. This is fantastic. I really like the pattern here on the handle scales. It's very similar to what we have here on the Nimble, but it's more deep. There's more relief, and it's more noticeable, but it's going to serve the same purpose. It's going to give you some grip, and it's also going to reduce snail trails. So it's going to stay looking nicer for longer. And even if you're in the use your knife crowd, there's nothing wrong with having a knife that looks good. There, I said it. Use your knives, but also, you know, take care of them. The action is just the same, single-sided captive pivot running on ceramic bearings. That's great. The balance on here is perfect as well. It lines up right where your index finger would go in a normal natural grip, and it feels good. Yeah. Guys, that is absolutely fantastic. To give you a direct comparison of what you're looking at here, the Nimble X is going to be a little bit bigger, and the Ronin is going to be a little bit shorter. That being said, if I had to pick one of these, which one would I pick? That's tough. That's actually really tough, because quite frankly, I like them both. Initially, I was more excited to be receiving the Ronin in the mail, but after handling this Nimble X, that's pretty fantastic. Let me know in the comments section down below, do you have an EMP EDC knife? If not, why not? Are you planning on getting one in the future? Have you seen anything from them that has you excited? Let me know. And if you want to watch more exciting knife content, make sure you click on the video that pops up next.